What's up, guys? I'm back to interpret another song, but not entirely the whole song. It's a song by Mos Def, Murder of a Teenage Life, but I'm only going to be looking at a couple of rhymes because these are the rhymes that affected me when I was listening to the song. And the first rhyme I want to pay attention to is Lawman, Dope Man, Adversary, Amigo. I choose this line because it's a reference to the social dichotomy that's taking place in America. Where in a place where the lawman is supposed to be the main enforcer of good and the American ideology of truth and justice and shit, and where the dope man is supposed to be the person who takes away from your community and provides you with drugs and promises you false hope of drugs. Where those roles have actually been switched in urban communities and black communities. Why has this switch taken place? I've talked about it earlier in the Things Done Changed video with about Biggie, where I say low skilled jobs were taken out of the black community, and kids and young adults were now looking to sell drugs as a form of income. And I'd like to make a quote real quick, if I can, out of a book I'm reading right now, Hip Hop Generation. In the 1980s and 1990s, many hip hop generationers quickly realized that a 40-hour work week minimum wage job would meet their basic needs. That many of us would take our chances in forming an economy is not surprising, hence the mass appeal enjoyed by rap lyrics that describe a gritty underworld. Young black and Latino audiences identify with this message because it's familiar. In a place where you're giving very little opportunity, it makes sense in a way to go for the fast buck in the underworld. It was done during Prohibition, the Kennedys and shit, but it promotes racial targeting from the police, where police are coming to black communities because there's a profound amount of dope and crack and cocaine and all sorts of drugs being distributed through the community. So it promotes racial targeting, and the mistrust between the black community and police stems far beyond now. It's like in the civil rights movements when they were spraying black people with hoses and sticking attack dogs on them for standing up for their rights. It extends even beyond that because what they were doing was policing Jim Crow. They were policing racism. They were promoting racism by openly attacking black people and people who supported integration. So this distrust with the police and seeing the police as unjust themselves is long brewing in the black community. And I'd like to do another quote if I could. It's too many quotes, but whatever. The belief among hip-hop generations that injustice will prevail has strongly influenced our generation's attitude towards policing, adding to the tension between police officers. So they already see. So here you have young adults and children growing up in a community where there are no real jobs that will let you make a decent salary. So they see selling dope as a good thing, and they admire dope dealers and see it as a way out of their impoverished environment. And you have police who have a history of being racially prejudiced against black people and being unjust and unlawful towards them because there's been this social split in America and pushing them down. No wonder they don't trust the police. You know what I'm saying? No wonder the police are seen as the adversary and the dope dealer as the amigo. Because it seems like the dope dealer or being a dope dealer is at least going to get you money, where the police is doing nothing but to lock you up and put you in jail. And it's unfair that targeting goes on in urban communities because white people in America, I'm not being racist here, but majority of Americans are white. And even in the census, I'll provide a link to it, majority of people who do drugs in America are white. But majority of people who are locked up for drug offenses are black. Why is that? Because their communities aren't targeted. You have police circling urban communities, black communities, looking for people doing the most minuscule things, locking people up for holding 2 ounces of drugs, giving them life sentence sentences, but you don't see police officers breaking in dorm rooms, snatching up white kids who got 8 balls. They don't do that shit, and that's socially unfair. That's racial profiling. That's racial targeting, and it's bullshit. Another line I wanted to look at just for a small second is preacher man, pimp hand, both folding their C notes. Now, what does a pimp do? He convinces a prostitute or a woman that you need me to sell your body. You need me to do this. In all actuality, a prostitute can sell her body without a pimp. But he convinces her that he needs her. And that's what these pimps in the pulpit are doing. Now, let me say this. Pimps in the pulpit aren't most preachers. But there's a large number of pimps in the pulpit out there. And if you're giving money and you don't see your church funds go up, you don't see the construction in your church, you don't see your church giving scholarships to students in the church, you don't see your church giving money to the community, something's wrong. I'm done with that one, okay? Because you should already know about now. There's some Rollo Goodloves out there. You need to start kicking their ass out. But I wanted to talk about I'm from the block that the president did not campaign on. That touches me because Mos Def is rawly saying that America doesn't give a fuck about us. In the community I grew up in, they won't even come and speak about social issues with us because we're not that important. And it's kind of sad that in 2008 that's true. Because when America thinks of the poor, America thinks of people sitting on the sidewalks, not having a job, or somebody who sits on their ass all day and collects a welfare check while having children. That's unfair. That's a skewed definition of the American poor society. Most Americans are poor, working 2 to 3 minimum wage jobs and trying to take care of their families, all while staying on the poverty line. And that's fucked up that in 2008 you're doing this. All the time in the election process, I've heard, oh, we're representing the hard-working middle-class Americans. Yeah, go-getters. When a huge percent of America is represented by hard-working, 2-3 job having, working at Popeye's Chicken, taking care of 3 kids, some women taking care of them by themselves, some men taking care of them by themselves. And they're not being represented. It's not fair. That's not American. That's not truth. That's not justice. I love this country, but it needs serious reforms. And I think Mos Def touched on that when he said, I'm from the block where the president did not campaign on. Because that's blatantly telling you they're not considering us in their issues or their policies. And they don't give a fuck about our opinions. Straight up. I'll say it. Fuck it. I think our politics have been messed up for a long time now, and I think it's time for reform in America. I'm not one of these socialist motherfuckers, but I do think it's time that we edit the system, I guess. Because the way I see it is politicians now are snakes, man. Palin's talking about being a maverick of this, a political maverick. There's no such thing as a political maverick, because to work your way up in this system means you've already been tarnished. I'm sorry. I'll even say it kind of about Obama. Sue me. But that's my interpretation, or at least that's the topics that I got from those lyrics that I just presented you with. I'm going to try to get to some of you guys' requests on songs, but if I can't get to them, please don't hold it against me. I love y'all for just even taking an interest in what I'm saying, and I appreciate everybody's comments. Please comment, PS, or just under or video response. Peace.